Well,
Well,
we're here, man. Podcast number 1.
first
Gotta
time.
start it, yeah. Not even a solid title yet.
Nope.
Talk about a rough draft, right?
Yeah, right. This is the untitled, soon-to-be titled podcast.
The untitled, soon to be titled. There we go. Got it.
I got it.
Got
yeah.
it. Done. We're leaving. But yeah, dude, we're starting it. Fucking what'd you do today? You went to class, right?
Yeah, the worst classes of my life. I had a fucking teacher who just read from the book. One teacher who speaks in the most soothing voice you've ever heard in your entire life. And it's a 3-hour class, so
Oh,
she's
shit.
she just starts off and she's like, "Today, we're gonna be talking about World War One," and then like you just wake up.
then you just
Yeah.
wake up.
Yeah, and you're like, "What the fuck just happened?"
Damn. I was supposed to go get a vehicle today, but I guess some tomfoolery happened and shit wasn't working in my favor.
Oh yeah, do you need me to take you tomorrow?
Since I'm off. No.
What?
Since I'm off.
No, I
work.
mean card.
Oh,
shopping.
yeah.
How are you doing that anyway?
How am I doing what?
Are you Googling cars? Or are you
Oh,
just gonna drive around? Like,
dude,
what's your deal?
fucking Facebook, man.
Oh,
That
that's not a bad
Facebook
idea.
marketplace, man. They sell like fucking everything on that bitch, bro. You can get anything. I'm surprised you can't buy little people on there.
Oh god.
You can buy animals. Dude, I saw. What did I see? I saw somebody on Facebook the other day that was selling dachshund puppies. Like on Facebook. I was like, whoa.
My dad sells his puppies on Craigslist.
Really? See,
Yeah, it's a little
Craigslist
creepy.
I can get, though. Craigslist I can get.
Craigslist creeps me out.
Yeah.
There's so much scary old shit they used to be able to do on there. It was like
Yeah.
the dark web on the real web, like some straight up.
Fucking, what was like the, fucking back page. That
Yeah.
was your, like, dark web on the real web. Bro. That was something that you never knew what you were going to get out of that motherfucker. What was that? Who were we listening to today? What was her name on that podcast?
We'll have to
It
check.
was Meth P Lady.
Meth P Lady, Jessa Reed, comedian. Jessa Reed. I was gonna say more stuff, and I was like, I don't really know. Comedian, meth,
Anything about it?
P drinking, crazy person, teethless, Jessa Reed.
Dude, she, you showed me the podcast, so obviously you know, but remember her telling the story about breaking into the fucking dentist office?
Oh
Like,
yeah.
fixing her own teeth on meth?
Yeah, she was like, oh, they were looking for the nitrous, which is in the back of the shed. And then,
Yeah, talk about a
and then she-
DIY drug.
yeah, and then she was. I listened to one of her podcasts where she was like, yeah, I love it when everybody calls me a junkie, and it's like, no, those are the heroin users, those bastards. We're on the productive drug.
We're on the productive drug.
The meth.
Dude, what I think is fucking absurd is, I could totally be wrong. Maybe we should fact check this, but I feel like I've done it before, and literally the only chemical composition difference from meth and Adderall is a salt molecule, I think.
Oh yeah.
Or regardless of what the molecule is, it is just one tiny molecule off. And what is the absurd number of kids that are on like
Meth?
Ritalin and
Which
on
which
meth?
on pharmaceutical grade meth? Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Dude, it's something absurd. Like 1 in 5.
Yeah,
Like,
that's fucking.
I remember I was in high school, and I think I was, yeah. Let's look that up real fast, so we know we're at least somewhat in the right ballpark.
I gotta text my girlfriend and tell her to take a quiz for me.
Okay. You're like, hey, I'm busy. You're not. Do this.
Yeah, it's a 20-minute psychology exam. I think it'll be fine. But I think I want to know the number in, like, I want to know if it's 1 in 20,000 or 1 in 6. Like,
Yeah. I remember. Yeah, it was my sophomore year in high school, and I was in Arizona at the time. And one of my buddies, he was a grade under me. Same age as me, though. He was 16, and I was 16. And he was on so much Adderall, dude. Like, from the moment he was born, they just started giving that shit to him, like, I guess. But he was taking 230 XRs a day.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah, and your kid is to mellow you out.
Yeah, like and no wonder he's fucking bouncing off the walls all day.
Yeah, like,
Like nowadays he can't even fucking.
oh, dude, it's according to the American Psychiatric Association, 5% of U.S. children have ADHD, but the Center for Disease Control and Prevention points to studies showing that 11% or more of kids have been diagnosed with ADHD. That was in 2003.
So it's over 1 in 10.
Oh my God, dude! What do you mean is over? That's disgusting.
That's absurd.
That's
Yeah.
the gross, dude. School bus gets off. 3 of those kids are packing Adderall.
Damn.
You
Damn.
know
Yeah.
what I
You want to
mean?
plug? Go to the bus stop.
Yeah, right. Hit up the kids. What's up? Can I have your orange bottle? I'm gonna drink it. Jesus
Dude.
Christ, that's messed
And
up.
the problem is, man, it's so fucking cheap.
Oh
It's
yeah,
so
it's
cheap.
the cheapest
Adderall
one.
prescriptions are.
God forbid you get a bad disease and it's super expensive, but Adderall, might as well
Yeah.
just throw 'em at kids.
Man, I just feel like. What do you think? Like, years and years when your brain is still in those very developmental stages, like, what do you think it does to you by the time you hit 50?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you can't even keep a train of thought.
Well, I mean, look at what meth does to you. I
Yeah.
don't. You see this like. I mean, it's gotta be essentially the same thing. I mean, it can't. There's some mystics and people that say that you're born with, and there's an idea that like you're born with so many heartbeats. I don't believe that, but you're born with so many heartbeats, and then you run out, and then you die, and like you're talking about these kids. But with kids, it has a different effect that they don't get so
Antsy.
they don't get so they're amped. So I don't know how much it increases their heart rate, but I know I've been on Adderall before, and my heart's just going.
Yeah, dude.
And you're like, what?
Tap dancing
And
in
you're
your
like,
chest.
are you telling me that's good for you to do on a basically consistent daily basis?
No, I mean, it can't be. Your heart has to. Then
Man.
again, like, what if your heart's a muscle and these fuckers outlive us?
Yeah, you're getting the stronger ones.
Yeah, dude, you never know now.
No, I had a friend, this really overweight girl who her whole family was just all pilled out prescription wise. They weren't like junkies or anything,
Yeah,
prescription
yeah.
wise. But she showed me, specifically her sister showed me their scripts. Okay, I swear, they had Vyvanse and Adderall.
Oh my god.
They had Xanax. They had Klonopins. They had two different types of she had two different types of antidepressants.
Lorazepam or
and
something.
No, the antidepressants were separate from the actual Xanax. She had bars and she had Klonopins, and then she had antidepressants on top of that.
Damn.
And I was like, no shit, you gotta put some antidepressants. You're going up, down, left, right, backwards, and then on top of that, she's on like lithium and all these other things. I'm like, how do you exist?
How does what I don't understand is everybody's chemical composition is so different. Like, how can a doctor just give you this like
Here you go.
basic ass, like, here you go, this will do it. Like, plus now they're on uppers and downers and other shit.
Oh, and then of course Ambien to go to sleep. That was the other one.
Oh my god.
And I'm like,
Ambien is a fucking trip.
that was scary, man.
And
It's
I
terrifying.
remember Joe Rogan was talking about his buddy. He cooked a turkey.
Yeah,
on
cooked
Ambien.
turkey, didn't know it.
Didn't know.
Woke
Thought
up, he's
somebody
like,
broke
who
in.
did all that?
It's ridiculous, man.
Um,
But yeah, all these things, they have to like interact differently, and once you start taking them together, like there's no way that you can, predict or even really probably discern what is the effects of these drugs and what's not.
And on top of that, most of these drugs, you build especially specifically Xanax and stuff, you build a tolerance to. So of course, I'm sure that girl started with half a milligram. It's 1 milligram a day.
Mhm.
Then it's 2 milligrams a day. Then it's 2 milligrams 2 times a day. Then when does that train end either? Do you ever get to that point? Like,
That's like my buddy that I was telling you about when we were at Walgreens. I was with my buddy Bryce. We went to Walgreens and somehow or another we were talking about Ambien, but then Seroquel came in. Have you ever heard of Seroquel?
I've heard of it, but I don't know what it is.
Okay, Seroquel is like an elephant tranquilizer times fucking what are they knocking chloroform.
Yeah.
It's like that, literally. And dude, I mean, my buddy was on 800 milligrams a night, which are 2 horse pills. Like that, like not literally horse pills,
I know
but
what you mean.
like 2 huge pills. And I could make one of those pills last me a month. I could literally just take the powder, like just knock some powder off, do this, like touch the pad of my finger to it, lick it, out in 5 minutes.
Well,
And he was taking 4 bars a day, 4 of the
Downer,
yellow
downer,
school
downer,
buses.
plus downer.
And then to sleep, he would take 800 milligrams of Seroquel. Like, the withdrawals off that, I can't, like, if he ever tries to get
No.
off that shit, he's dead.
No, you would literally, like, you'd have to be IV. You'd have to have, like, you'd have to have a team of doctors. Like, it's insane to me that they just give, and they give these things out. I remember I went to go get an Adderall script when I was in college, just because to do schoolwork or whatever.
Obviously, yeah.
So
Everybody in college needs at least an Adderall
So
script.
I took the test. Okay, so I go in, I take this test. Well, even trying to mess it up, I didn't, and I finished it. And she was like, "Oh, I don't really think you need this. You may just wanna, like, we can get your therapist, whatever. You can figure it out." And I was like, she's like, "But what were you thinking you were looking for?" And I was like, "Honestly, I've tried Adderall before in the streets, and it really helped me. And so I really was just looking to get some Adderall." And she was like, "Oh, okay, cool. I'll set you up with a meeting with a psychiatrist." I swear on my life. And I was like, "What?"
It's like getting a medical marijuana card, dude. That was a joke. I got mine, because my late stepmom, she had cancer and she was like bedridden, and I literally got my caregiver's card so I could get marijuana for her from dispensaries because she couldn't go do it.
Yeah.
And the doctor literally, I did a video chat for my fucking, yeah. I literally did a video chat for my medical card. And he looked at me and I was like, "Yeah, I have a lot of trouble sleeping. I've got chronic headaches." And I actually did have chronic headaches back in the past.
Yeah, you said you had migraines.
Yeah. But he goes, "Oh, your back hurts too, right?" I was like, "I guess it does now."
Yeah. And I mean, like,
it's absurd, dude.
And like with pot, everybody's like, "Oh, ha, ha, yeah, that's funny." And I'm like, but people don't realize is it's not just pot that they do that with. There's places they call pill mills.
Dude, where are the main pill mills are?
Florida and here, I think.
In the Philippines, though, I thought.
Oh, like the real.
Yeah, like the factories. Isn't it all? I know it's in like South America, like Philippines or, I don't know.
Hey, speaking of Philippines, did you see where they brought in? I think it's in Africa. They started making Quaaludes again.
Oh, dude, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I did. I haven't watched that on Vice. Shout out Vice for always bringing some crazy shit. But yeah, I did see that they started making Quaaludes again. I need to watch that.
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
Yeah, it was great.
What
These
was
guys are just like, it's real. They're real presses. I don't know exactly. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've seen it.
Right.
But you see this one guy, he takes it on a foil and he just blasts it and then just passes out into this chair. And the guy's like, "Is he gonna die?" He's like, "Oh, nah, he's good. You can't overdose with this stuff." And they just get him back up in a minute, and he's like, "Whoa, all out of it."
Some Wolf of Wall Street type
Dude,
shit.
I'm like, dude, what the fuck?
Dude, that.
Need another one.
Oh. Word.
But
That scene in Wolf of Wall Street. That scene where he is
makes
driving
me,
his
makes me
Lambo.
want to do it.
Yeah, and like,
Have you ever done ketamine?
oh, dude, I've always wanted a K-hole.
That's my favorite drug of all time. I loved it so much. I used to do it all the time. No withdrawal, no come down. Best night of sleep ever. Impossible to. I mean, it's not impossible to overdose, but I challenge anyone to do a 2-gram line. There's no way you get through a half of a gram and you won't be moving. It's impossible. I mean, good luck. I built a tolerance a little bit at one point, and like I did a half-gram line at once. And by the time I got to the end of the half-gram, my head hit the table. There's no way. And I'm like, so the only way to overdose, you have to do like 2 or 3 grams at once. And like, good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Dude, what's the you have to smoke your body weight in 20 minutes or in like 20 minutes to overdose on weed?
Yeah, something like that.
It's your body weight in like an absurd amount of time.
Yeah,
like,
I'm like, good luck.
Good luck with that one too.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll die from a collapsed lung first.
Yeah, dude, seriously, like
no
more oxygen. You'd have to just like sit in a room that is like literally no more oxygen, just like weed.
Have you seen those videos where they take like it's just dispensaries and they'll put a room like
hash
this,
plates?
and dude, they're doing a limo or something. And you're just like, that doesn't look fun at all.
No,
it looks fun for a while, and then you're like,
then you start
my eyes are burning. Like, what the fuck?
I have a video. It was right before I moved to California, and I was with one of my 2 best friends back in the day when we were fucking running amok and doing a bunch of things we shouldn't, as they say. And we smoked a ounce blunt in the car, hotboxed it,
No,
and we
fuck
were
that.
like, we were gonna see who's gonna tap out first and who can make it. And I've got the whole thing on video, and we were like freestyling, and probably at like minute 5, it's just smoke everywhere, and everybody was like ready to get the fuck out. But we made it. We made it through the blunt. Shout out Aaron and TJ. We did that shit.
Dude, oh my god.
Dude, I have some crazy stories, like, just about smoking, like, just about weed in the West Coast, man. Like,
Yeah, I could
weed
never
there
imagine.
is no fucking joke.
I've never been anywhere legal.
Oh, really?
No.
Yeah, dude, I mean, like, in Venice, you can just walk down the street smoking a joint.
Got like a cigarette. That's just fucking
Speaking of cigarettes, we should have got some. Dude,
totally should have got some.
we definitely should have. But I'm like,
we can do one of those podcast pauses where they pause and come back in a second.
you're like, we'll be back. No, dude, this Juul, like, it was fucking hitting the spot for a while. Not so much now. Not, it is subpar.
Dude, I'll tell you, when I had the G Pen like right after it came out. I was one of the early birds for all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, this is back when we didn't really have a bunch of oil or anything.
Yeah.
I remember I had 2 grams of oil and I smoked it. And I smoked a gram in the first day. And again, like, never really doing
Yeah,
that.
didn't really
But I
fuck
hate
with-
those pins because, like,
You
you're
waste
just
so
hitting
much.
it, you're just hitting it, you're just hitting it, and you're like, oh, this is fun, no big deal, haha, these hits aren't hard at all. And then, like, the third hour, and you're sitting there with your friends, you're like, yeah, I wonder how much I've smoked. And then you look at the wall, and you're like, wait, I wonder how much
Holy
I've smoked. And then
fuck.
it just all hits you at once. You're like,
Yeah.
I hate this thing. And then you just do it again over and over again. I'm like, I can't. It's too convenient, man.
Dude, I was at work not too long ago, and there's somebody there who makes, I think we were talking about it very briefly, but that makes edibles there.
Yeah, yeah.
And so you know that when you smoke weed, you get THC,
Mm-hmm.
but when you eat it, it's processed by your liver, and it's actually 11-hydroxy metabolite.
Oh.
So you could call it THCA. I don't know. Like, I don't give a fuck. You can call it whatever you want. But so it's up to 5 times more psychoactive, or minimum 5 times more psychoactive than THC. And edibles have never really given me the effect that I like have wanted them to have. Like,
Oh, you've never ever
no, it never really like hit me that hard. And you know, I've had really good edibles from dispensaries and stuff, but maybe it's because I hadn't done them in such a long time. Dull side.
Okay.
Maybe it's because I hadn't done them in such a long time, but I was like, you know what? I'm working a fucking double today. I'm over this shit. I'm gonna eat a little bit of this fucking brownie at work. Dude, we serve. My first
plates,
3 tables.
We're waiters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just so
like
you,
that, we really do.
now you know what we're caught up on.
Yeah.
So I was fucked up, bro. My
Oh,
first
yeah.
3 tables, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, it felt like. And then I would be like going back after bussing a table, and I'd be so slow, like putting dishes down, and be like, does this go here? Be like, nope, that's clean. I'm like, I was just fried, dude. That was
'cause it'll hit you,
mistake.
and it rides forever.
Yeah, dude.
Now, my worst edible story was my buddy. We put a quarter of dabs for a thing. It was probably this big for brownies, just not big enough for that.
What?
Like-
Like 10
like
inches
this
by
big.
18 inches?
Yeah, like the small, not
Like a
big
baking pan?
Yeah. Well, actually, it was a glass pan because we're retarded.
Oh.
But anyway, so
That Pyrex.
So we make the oil first, and then we mix it in the batter, and then once we've got the brownies laid out in the pan, start eating the batter, munching on it. Mistake number 1, and then so they get out, and me and my buddy, I'll never forget. I'm sitting on the couch, and I'm my 3rd brownie in, and I start shooting to the moon, and I'm looking at the brownie.
3rd brownie
No, listen,
in?
I'm the 3rd brownie in. I start shooting to the moon, and I'm like, dude, I just ate these brownies. I know how long this stuff takes to kick in. Why is this kicking in? Why is this kicking in right now? There's no way it should be kicking in. And then my brain clicks, and I think it happened the same time with my friend, because as soon as it clicked, I went, oh no, this is just the batter. And I looked at him, and he looked right at me with this big wide eyes, and we're like, oh, this is not,
Oh,
it's not
man.
gonna go well. And then, dude, I mean, basically a day and a half, 2 days
Yeah,
of
like an
just being
18-hour high.
just being out, just gone. Like it was so fucking. Is that a wireless keyboard? Yeah. You should bring that over here for if we want to pause it or do something.
Yeah, I
You
got
know, if
it.
we want to like run and bathroom breaks or some shit.
Yeah, for sure. I hear you.
And you can control it from there too. But yeah, dude, like I mean, to the moon. Like I was just laying on the couch like 6 hours while everybody around me was watching TV, and my buddy was in the chair, just with his head in the air. And my other friend, he ate. There was this one part of the bowl where too much of it got, like the house was tilted or whatever. And my buddy eats it, and he doesn't do well with psychedelics or tripping or anything. And he went straight home.
Oh,
He called me
no.
the next day, and he's like, "Dude, I cried. I cried for 6 hours. I threw up. I feel like I was on mushrooms. It was the worst day ever."
It's funny that you say that because I was actually going to bring up the boomers. You ever just had one of those moments where you're like, oh, I fucking got this. And those boomers said, no, you don't. Yeah, dude. There was first time I ever did mushrooms. I was at my buddy's house. This is a weird ass story too. I ended up finishing out the night laying in a dark room watching the Lego movie on my phone. And that might have been the greatest movie I've ever seen on mushrooms.
Wait, I'm sorry. What movie?
The Lego movie.
What the fuck? I bet it was good, dude. You're like probably just like thinking about it. You know
Oh, I
what
was
I mean?
frying. And every like a minute I was in that Lego movie felt like it was a whole episode
Oh
of
yeah,
like a TV show.
Lifetime.
Yeah. But so we all eat these mushrooms and we did like 5 grams our first try, which was like
Is that heroic? I think
the
that's
heroic dose is 5 grams.
yeah. I think it's 5.
Terrence
yeah, 5 and
McKenna.
up. Yep.
Um,
Shout out Terrence McKenna.
yeah, rest in peace, man. But so we did the heroic dose, and at this time I didn't even know about Terrence McKenna. So I
you
was
didn't
just
know his little tips and tricks.
no.
Like tell the mushrooms, hey, calm down a little bit.
Yeah, no. The mushrooms were taking me for a walk this time. And it ended up to where the chick that dropped him off to us came back to the house with like 15 people, and just it was me and like 4 of my friends, again, TJ, Aaron, and then another friend of mine, Loren. And we were like frying, and she's like, hey, how you guys feeling? And we were like, obviously fucked up.
That's the worst question.
So she brings like 10 of her friends over. So it's me, my buddies, and just this house of like 10 girls, and they're just making us cookies. And like, we don't know any of them. So it was just weird as fuck. And they ended up making us all these cookies, and we ended up eating probably like 2 funfetti cakes, a whole box of cookies, and like I think a like plate of brownies as well. And they didn't even fucking clean the kitchen. So we like wake up in the morning after frying,
Oh
and
my
my butt.
God.
This is like we just got out of high school, and we wake up in the morning. Afterglow is great. We're like, wow, that was fucking nuts. And we go outside, and the kitchen is just fucking
trash.
thrashed, bro. I mean, fudge like all over the cabinets and shit. Like I don't know what we were doing, but there was just a menagerie of dessert all over the walls.
Good word.
Like, and after that, I was like, so next time I do mushrooms, don't invite a gaggle of bitches over.
Dude, you want to hear my first trip mushroom experience ever?
Hit me
First
with
trip
it.
ever. Okay. So it starts. We all eat an eighth. The house is like 6 of my friends. There's a couple people there who are sober who are just hanging
That's a
out at
good
their
dose.
house.
An eighth
Yeah.
is a good dose.
Yeah, it's a good dose. Okay. So it starts off. We all sit on the porch hanging out, and it starts kicking in, and I'm starting to feel nervy and a little on the come up and everything. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna sit here for a second. I hang out outside for about an hour, and then it really starts kicking in. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go sit inside. I go sit in the living room, and they're watching Cops.
Oh, fuck.
That was the intro to my tripping life, was Cops. And I had to sit there with them while watching Cops for like 45 minutes. And I was like, we gotta turn this off. And
Was
so,
everybody tripping?
all the people, most of the people that were tripping were outside. It was just my friends. We were at my friend's older brother's house in college. So his older brother was just like, yeah, y'all can trip here, whatever. I'm hanging out on a Saturday. So he's just hanging out. He's got his other roommates there just hanging out. And then we're all just tripping. And this shit is kicking it. And I'm watching Costa like, this is the worst thing ever. And then I go outside and I sit and I stare at the sun for like 30 minutes.
Oh my
Which
God,
I didn't
dude.
know was happening. And then I felt magical. But then that same friend that I said was really bad with tripping, well, this is how his thing happens. So then I start walking back over to go walk up the steps of the porch. And my buddy's sitting there and he's going...
Just like shaking, wiping his arms.
Yeah, and I'm like, dude, what's happening? What's happening? He's like, I don't know where all this blood's coming from. Where's all this blood coming from? And we're like, what are you talking about? What are you talking? Dude, you're good. You're good. And he was like, no, man, I see blood everywhere. And we had to take him inside, and he has a seizure.
Bro.
And I was like, and all of us in our heads were looking at him collectively, and you can hear the telepathy in the room going, are we next? Is this what's going to happen to us next? But he took less than we did, so we're like, oh, this is going to be bad. And then after that, it was like the best trip ever. Super great time. But dude, that was my intro. And be like, where's all this blood coming from? I'm like, what in the fuck?
That's a rough one.
He does not. He's the only person.
He's got some effects.
He's the only person who's ever had the stereotype trips. Like
really?
Every time I talk to him about trips, he's like, one time I saw skeletons everywhere and everything's crazy. I'm like, dude, I saw like a rainbow angel. What are you talking about? Normal shit.
A rainbow angel.
Yeah, I'm like, what are you talking about? Normal shit. Like, dude, like he just had terrible trips. It was fucking crazy. But that blood one, man. And I was in what I call guru mode, so I was super chill. And I was like, it's okay, buddy. We'll just bring you in here. No worries. We'll help you come down from this and whatever. Oh, dude, it was nuts. Yeah. And then we listened to Dark Side of the Moon.
Always gonna help you.
So I listened to Dark Side of the Moon all the way through, and I had never heard it before. And the next day, they put it back on, and I'm like, this isn't what this sounded like. He was talking here. What's happening here? This does not sound anything like it when I listened to it.
Dude, have you ever heard of... We're going to need to definitely put this on the back burner.
Pull that stool over.
Have you ever heard of Pineal Gland by Absol?
Yes, I have actually.
So that song is legitimately made with like, certain harmonic frequencies and certain like patterns
like
to make you
music.
Trip. Like what?
Spangle?
Not familiar. Yeah. Tell me about it.
That's all the music is. They have a song called Divine Moment of Truth, DMT. And
Divine Moment
and it's just all this crazy shit, but Spangle makes music specifically for... I didn't know Absol did that, but Spangle specifically makes music for that. I saw them live at a festival, and I just walked by their show, and all you could smell is mothballs. Just everywhere. Just mothballs. Poof, 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 poof.
Why?
Because that's what DMT smells like.
Oh, yeah.
Or at least
mine
always has.
Yeah. No, yeah. I was like, mothballs?
Yeah,
you're
dude.
Outside.
But, dude, their shit, like, if I'll have to show you it later when we're done with this, but it's just, like, fucking bizarre.
Bizarre-ass music.
Oh, another thing, if we're gonna put anything on YouTube and whatever, we gotta learn the ropes of what we can play, what we can't play.
Yeah.
Audio and everything else.
That's definitely something, for
Like
sure.
that.
Dude, so, speaking of telepathy while on psychedelics, where's my... Right here. This book. By Rupert Sheldrake, The Sense of Being Stared At and Other Unexplained Powers of the Human Mind. It basically talks about all that, but what I think is crazy is when you're on psychedelia, all of that shit, like, is so heightened. Your senses for if somebody's looking at you or not. Like, all of that shit is so heightened. And how much is the drug and how much is actually your brain, like, reaching, not evolution, like, evolving, but how much of that is actually there and you're tapping into, like, a sense.
What new waves can you see? What new spectrum can you pick up?
Mm-hmm. Or are you just fucking frying?
Did you hear in that podcast where she was talking about the age of Aquarius?
Yes.
And I remember things. And the one part where she said, she was like, do you notice how now whenever someone's lying, you can tell it's like a way to hear it? She's like, it's not really hearing, but you can hear it differently. And she's like, that's part of the fourth dimension coming in now. You're starting to get these extra senses. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, dude, I thought it was crazy that she was saying, we need to tell these people what that podcast was.
Okay, so it's a tinfoil hat with Sam Tripoli. Sam Tripoli's a comedian, pretty good comedian, great comedian. So it's tinfoil hat. You can find it anywhere, and they have a bunch of podcasts, and they basically just interview people and talk about conspiracy theories of all different kinds, whether it be interdimensional aliens or the government or whatever. Highly recommend it. That's Tinfoil Hat. And the episode that we're talking about is part of their Patreon, but they just released it on their main one, and it's called Interdimensional Meth Travel.
Yeah, interdimensional meth
with
travel.
Jessa Reed.
Um,
And we will be talking about that a lot because
yeah, we did just listen to that today. That was a podcast. What I thought was very interesting about that was she said that 9/11 pushed us so far back from the that enlightenment or that dimension that we almost like reached.
Awake. We were getting to where we were starting to break down boundaries, and we weren't so angry at everybody and making all these separations.
We didn't
and
like
then
want war so bad.
Yeah, and then 9/11 happened, and then we found a new enemy and more separation, and it kind of set us back.
Yeah, that was a very interesting thing that she had said.
Yeah.
Let's walk this thin line real quick. What do you think about 9/11? Because I think there are a few reasons. I do think it was partially an inside job, if not totally an inside job. But I think is it for oil? Or like they were saying, one of the best kept secrets, is it for heroin? Because since we invaded, the heroin production has increased 90%.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm saying 100% as the
I know what you mean.
term. But I, for one, it's totally an inside job. I don't care what any of you say.
Mm-hmm.
Operation Northwoods.
Sounds stupid familiar, but
Operation
Northwoods. Bring me back.
Operation Northwoods was the government planned on launching. Are you turning the AC on? Sweet. With the government or a bunch of heads. I hate saying the government because it's not all the government specific people, but these figureheads had made all these papers written up and wanted to get JFK to sign saying that they were gonna take 2 planes, crash them, blame the crash, and fly them into buildings, blame it on Cuba, and then we would start a war with Cuba. And JFK was like, hell no, and then he died. And so that just shows that the government has already tried to do this once, and then now had the chance to do it. I mean, the buildings
Have you seen the Gulf of Tonka? Do you know about that?
Yeah, I know about that.
Where we had, I do want to say Sandinistas, but I could totally be wrong. But we had Cubans attack. We had I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's either Cubans that were on our side or Americans on our side attack Americans, and then that's kind of what made us go.
And we used that to start military action against them, so that we could whatever our goal was at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't totally remember.
I'm gonna Google it right now, real fast.
Yeah, they're fine. But
Tonkin. Okay, so the Gulf of Tonkin. The truth.
I may need to mute in a second and call her.
Okay.
You want to do that right now while you look this up?
Yeah.
Just mark down.
We're gonna take a quick hiatus. We'll be right back in 2 minutes. And we're back. So a little bit of investigation, and I was talking about Operation Northwoods, and I know we'd already talked about that before, but
you just read about it. Might have a little bit better way to explain it.
Yeah, it was a false flag. We said that it was the Cubans, and really America had hired these Cubans to attack an American base.
Operation Northwoods did not go through, though. That was the only thing.
Oh, so then we're not. Fuck. Either way. I don't know. I heard about it on a Joe Rogan podcast. Maybe you can find it. Americans attack Americans, whatever. But regardless, that did happen, and I mean, I think.
Well, that shows you that they're capable, if not are doing that.
Yeah, they are sacrificing for their end game or whatever.
Yeah, for income.
For income,
income and resources. It's fascinating. But just the fact that they would be able to do that. Like, I remember my mom was talking to me one day in the car, and she's not far out at all, but she's like chill. But she was just like, wait, so you're probably one of those ones that believes that 9/11 was the government, right? And I'm like, Yeah, 100%, no
Yeah,
doubt.
100%.
Yeah, and it's just like, and it's so sad to realize, like, oh, a lot of people really don't think it was. And I'm not gonna say it's some mystical or super deep thing or whatever, but I just believe that people get in cabs, make the cab drivers drive out to the middle of nowhere and shoot them in the back of the head for $50. So you don't think that someone is willing to kill a bunch of people if they can make money that doesn't even make sense? $1 billion, a couple $100 million, you know?
Yeah, I have got a weird theory that whatever puppeteer is pulling these strings is just that we're a game. Like that this is just I mean, look at our president.
Joke.
Grab him by the pussy. Like seriously, I mean, and at what point is somebody either going to say what the fuck or are we going to be living in idiocracy?
Yeah, I totally agree. This is the real question. And if people believe that no one could be that desensitized, okay, think about in a much more microcosm of that. Think about your doctor, okay? There are male gynecologists. If you take a simple 16-year-old kid with his hormones going crazy and you say, hey, you can look at girls' vaginas all day, he'd be losing his fucking mind.
Yeah,
It'd be the
yeah.
craziest, best job ever. But this
Yeah, of
guy has been so
course.
desensitized to that need for a sex drive that he's being clinical. Or a
It's a very
surgeon.
good way to put that without, using violence as a
Yeah,
reference.
or a surgeon who's willing to cut a man's chest open and dig through his organs, whereas majority of people, if you saw someone's entire chest get slit open, people are digging through their intestines,
Yeah, that would
you'd
not
lose your
be.
fucking, you'd have PTSD, you know? I
Yeah.
mean, the desensitization is a real thing. So what this man does is he doesn't, it's not like he's over there killing these people. He's going X plus Y equals bigger bank account. So I'm gonna do X plus Y, and that's all these people are. And there's
Capitalism at its
yeah.
finest, man.
And I care about my family more than I care about the lives of others, and I want to make sure everything in my life is wealthy, and et cetera, et cetera. So,
I mean, what do you what's your take on the idea of a world currency?
what do you mean by world currency?
Like
Single currency?
yeah, a single currency, sorry.
Scary, also necessary, I guess. I don't.
Easier it would be easier to manipulate and control
100%.
For unfortunately not us, for whoever is making the currency.
Well, here's my thing. That I've been thinking about, and I could totally be corrected, which is why I can't wait until we have message boards and things because I'd love to learn about this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Reddit, we'll have a Reddit section, whatever. But I think that everybody talks about how free and how open and how good Bitcoin is and everything else. But the way Bitcoin works is that there's only X amount of Bitcoins that can ever be made, and then after that, it's over. And I mean, it's taken forever, ever to get there, but we're gonna get there. And people are like, well, this is a free market. This is the perfect thing ever. And it's like, okay, but if you have a finite number of an object, then all it takes is Bill Gates to buy the majority finite number,
and then
and
you're
then it's
fucked.
totally controlled. It's all over, and it's like,
Wow, I didn't think about that.
And that's what scares me about Bitcoin and some cryptos is when you have a finite amount. If the idea is we'd switch everything to Bitcoin, we're fucked, essentially.
Yeah.
You know,
dude, did you hear about that? I mean, this is old news now, so I'm sure you did. But did you hear about that guy that got like $140 million stolen from him just by somebody who hacked his shit with a laptop?
A lot of those stories. A lot of those stories.
Yeah, like I mean, it's just not.
Have you heard the robotic conspiracy about Bitcoin?
No, tell me.
So no one. I also heard this on Tinfoil Hat. So no one knows who made Bitcoin. That's just a fact. No one knows who actually invented it, who actually coded it. The highest level.
Do we know who invented blockchain?
No, that's where this is going.
Oh.
So the blockchain is part of Bitcoin that they will invent it, and none of the highest level coders in the world. Now I'm speaking out of term here. I don't know.
Yeah.
The direct fact,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
don't know how it's coded and can't code it. So one of the ideas is that AI has coded this blockchain and this thing so that they can watch humans' interactions and purchases and things like that, and they're in full control of it.
No
It's weird
shit.
that Bitcoin was suddenly $13,000 as opposed to when the first time I bought one was $2.
Yeah.
And the blockchain keeps recordings of all of these things, and you could never go through the entire blockchain as a human, but if you're an AI, you can keep total tabs and track on everything and then manipulate the system and work with humans, use humans and test humans and check out everything they're doing. And so the conspiracy is that this is actually a super AI that is running this whole thing and running the blockchain. And it's like, You know what I mean?
I
Like,
mean, if we've, as the public, you and I, if we've seen like Google's AI and shit, like, did you ever watch Ex Machina?
oh yeah,
Fucking amazing movie.
fucking amazing.
Um,
Kept it going the whole Turing test to a T.
yes,
Oh my
yes,
god.
dude. And then, oh man, I don't want to spoil it if you haven't watched it,
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
but just when she leaves and just like left that dude locked in there,
Oh,
it truly like shows you
the
like
greatest moment.
there's no fucking
Sorry,
there's
my nuts.
only
My nuts are so bad.
get A and B for the robot.
Mhm.
Like there's no
Yeah.
confusion
And, then
and there's no manipulation. Like she wanted what she got, or she wanted something and then she figured out how to do it, and that was it.
Yeah.
And that's like scary to think about, because now they're having like robots in McDonald's flipping burgers and shit.
Mhm.
And like majority, I'd say in like 50 years, majority of jobs that we have
Yeah.
are going to be automated.
Well,
What the fuck are we going to do with the people?
have you seen Her?
Oh,
Where Joaquin Phoenix is in love with the
yeah, Joaquin
AI?
Phoenix. I did not watch it, but I've heard it's good.
So at the end, she ends up leaving him to go meet up with the other AI in the cloud. And what I thought about in that moment was so spoiler alert.
Yeah, I
alert.
guess we can fuck you
But
guys
fuck
if you
it,
haven't
yeah.
seen that one either.
Yeah,
But
anyway, but so she's gonna go with the other AI, and you're like, wait, how far does that AI ability go? And I understand. I mean, sort of understand, but I understand how processing works, and that it's not like suddenly the burger flipping robot could become totally sentient and be taken over
yeah,
by something else. But maybe one day.
yeah.
And how
The
does that-
moment that an AI figures out how to code, we're fucked.
We're fucked, and they already do, pretty much.
Yeah, very very basic, and obviously like we've implemented the blueprint that they use to code, but like the moment that whatever, and they don't even have to be necessarily sentient right away, but the moment that an AI figures out like, oh shit, if I just change this little sequence of code and put it here, we're fucked.
Dude,
It just is gonna exponentially evolve.
I'll tell you though, I watched a documentary and I can't remember what it's called. It wasn't very long, but everybody's so scared of how they're going to take the automation and all these jobs away from us. And people are going to not have work and whatever. And I agree, that's a good fear. But here's what scared me was this documentary showed that they were writing symphonies. They were doing art. They were like drawings and things,
But
thousands.
that wasn't programmed.
No, this is just what I mean, it was a robot was programmed to write symphonies, but it wrote 1,000 symphonies in a day that were better than Mozart. And then they had ones that were making art that was unfathomable, just all of these things. And they were taking away the last thing that humans think we have is like, oh, well, I can be artistic. And it's like, so can they. Yeah. And that to me is scarier than the fact they can crunch numbers and be your accountant.
Do you remember great movie, iRobot?
Oh, yeah.
Dude,
yeah, back in the day, Will Smith, old school. Yeah. I guess that's old school now. Kind of weird to say that.
Yeah. Dude,
yeah, early 2000s, I guess.
Yeah, when did it come out?
Oh, fuck, dude.
That's a good question.
I feel weird and old.
When did iRobot come out?
We should make it a thing.
And it came out July 16th, 2004.
Or, fuck. Oh, by the way, we should make it a thing. We'll just never say our ages. Let's just make a thing on the podcast. We'll never say our ages.
Yeah, I'm 56.
Yeah, and I'm 87. Millennials.
Yeah, he looks really shitty for 87. But do you remember when he says he has dreams? And they were like, you can't dream, Sonny. You're a robot. And he draws with both hands that bridge scene, like instantly with both hands, just going left and right. In about 30 seconds, he draws him like a masterpiece. Like, that is absurd. That right there, if that shit starts happening, then we have no use.
We're fucked.
Yeah, we have.
Because that's the last thing we have is art. If they can write songs
creativity.
better, if they can write, what I guess I mean example, but like if the Rolling Stones are your favorite band of all time and they can write songs better, you're fucked. You know what I mean? If you love Eminem, if you love Eminem and he's the greatest rapper ever, and they can write 600 songs better than him in an hour, fucked. I mean, it's crazy.
The one thing that I would say is gonna inhibit that, would be experience. What we draw, what we write is all determined by shit that we've experienced. Now, would their music, because they have such a vast amount of information in their head, would their music or their drawings possibly be too much for us to appreciate?
I guess you could question, like, okay, so there was that. I mean, this is way overhyped, but that scare that those Facebook robots were starting to talk to each other.
Oh
But
yeah, yeah, yeah.
they were using their uninvented shorthand. So I say you really like an Eminem song or insert rapper here. Say you really like an Immortal Technique song. Well, would the robots just be talking in a shorthand that wouldn't? Because our senses would be different, would a robot be talking in a shorthand that, let's say, would be the best freestyle ever for robots, but for people it would make no sense?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
they'd just be,
exactly.
yeah, it would be undone. Would their art eventually just become fractals and be like, yeah, but I really like a beach? You know what I
Yeah,
mean? That kind of thing. So
exactly.
maybe there is a fine line between, we just have to separate the experience of them, but it also depends on how far they can go in understanding or becoming humans.
Yeah. I think I think more so than AI, um we're going to I think integrate technology into
I think we're
us
gonna integrate. I totally think it's gonna,
much more
whatever
than
you would consider uploading consciousness is gonna happen.
or what is it? I want to say it's called a stem or a stent. No, it's not a stent. That's
Yeah,
that's in
yeah.
your heart.
Yeah.
But they're thinking about this thing that they want to put in the brain. It's one of Elon Musk's company, of course. He's
Of
doing
course, even though
everything.
he's the one who's like, hey, you guys should be really worried about all this.
Yeah, I think
About
what
my shit.
he wants to do instead is implement like a chip that we put into the back of our brain or maybe in our spinal column. I know it's in the back of the head or the back of the neck, but that's like internet right there, fully accessible.
So then it would be do you know the difference between augmented versus virtual reality?
Yeah,
Yeah. So
but
it would,
if the listeners don't, tell us.
so virtual reality is we put on the helmets, we go to different lands, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Augmented reality is you can see your phone in your hand or out on the wall or is projected from. Basically,
Yeah,
augmented reality is reality plus robot shit. Virtual reality is
all
what,
virtual.
all of it, all virtual, all made up.
Yeah, augmented reality is
Killing zombies versus looking up what a zombie is.
yeah, augmented reality is just like if you watch Black Mirror, Playtest, that movie, or that episode, Playtest, where it is a video game. It's a horror video game all about augmented reality, um, and it gets fucking intense.
Yeah,
Good.
I will not spoil that one. It's
Yeah,
so
I was trying so hard not
yeah,
to.
it's too intense. That's my one of my favorite shows, if not my favorite. You go, just go watch it.
Yeah,
Watch
just
any of
go
them, but
watch
that one
any of them.
also.
No, that show is like there's so many facets with everything that's happening right now in society, how we're evolving, not like our bodies are evolving, but communally
Yeah,
we're evolving and society is adapting and changing. That show really just takes one of the directions we can go with society and just emphasizes it
yeah.
to the tenfold.
I mean, yeah.
And none of it is like absurd. All
No,
of it is shit that's already like,
not
the precursors are happening now.
yeah.
And it's just whatever avenue that society decides to follow, that's like what Black Mirror emphasizes.
Could you imagine what a writer's table for that show would be like? You're
Oh
sitting
my
around
gosh.
writing with everyone. I mean, what are they even? Who? What? I want a video of
I feel like
that.
it's got to be like two tinfoil hat conspiracy dudes, two
Yeah.
guys that are just fucking paranoid of everything, and like four people that are just smart as fuck.
Yeah,
And they just blend it all.
Mensa, perfect IQ people. Like, you know what Mensa is, right?
No.
Oh, it's just like you test your IQ, and if your IQ is high enough, you can join this kind of club group worldwide thing. You pay every
Oh,
year. They give
Mensa.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, Eric Andre, I don't know if you know who that is.
Of course, I know that is.
Hilarious. I
Sense.
love his show. But he went to a Mensa. It is like an IQ club. He went to a Mensa convention wearing a suit of armor. And they wouldn't let him in.
Shit.
Oh,
Dude, he
man.
fucking kills me. But yeah, man, all this like AI stuff is just so crazy.
One thing that I find extremely interesting is if we did like this is going to space travel. If we did, merge with technology, or even like God forbid, like in the future, get wiped out by technology, and then
become the next thing,
yeah,
evolutionarily.
Nobody would. Joe Rogan says it best. Like, we wouldn't need to go to space because it just wouldn't make sense. Like, we would find a way to run at full efficiency on the planet now.
Yeah, I love the idea that people have of colonizing Mars, a desert planet that we can't actually live on, as opposed to just like fixing where we're at. They're just like, oh fuck it, we need to go to this gigantic ball of gas that's evil that none of us can even walk around on, and then figure it out from there, as opposed to just correcting the simple area that we live on and the simple problems that, I mean, simple is a strong word. Just the problems that we have here, which I'm sure are probably a little bit less than trying to live inside of magical space pods that we we don't like. We have to develop and invent, and hope, God forbid, they get hit by a rock and then the hole gets in them and then everybody and the whole thing dies and it's all over for the human race. I mean, it's fucking crazy that we could, like, it's fucking crazy that we even think we should just go to this other place as opposed to fix the one we're on.
Yeah, and oh man, there's so many things wrong with that.
And I don't think it's wrong to go colonize it. I think it's just a stupid idea to make that number one.
Yeah, well, I think that we should probably figure our shit out here first before we go fuck up another one.
yeah, that's the other thing.
Like, in all honesty,
you think we're gonna suddenly quit? You think we're suddenly gonna start recycling everyone? Like, I doubt it.
No. Dude, you know what's fucked up is in California they will fine you if you don't recycle certain materials. Here in Tennessee, where we live, you have to pay a formidable amount of money to recycle here. Like, to recycle, you have to pay money.
Yeah, and I mean, hell, I had to help this girl move not too long ago. And I was telling you how to go help her move after night.
Oh yeah.
And dude, when I took the first time I helped her move, when I took this, actually what I meant to talk about, but when I took her stuff to the dump, it was like a process for me to put it in there. He's like, well, this cardboard's a little bit different. And I'm like, I'm still trying to recycle it. Can you just take my cardboard? And he's like, oh, I don't know if we can take this one because it has writing on the outside. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I'll just take it to the dumpster. Like, oh, don't make this a complicated.
Wow.
Have you seen that? Can't remember if it's Japan or China. Sorry, can't tell them apart. There's like one city where like you're forced to recycle all the time, forever and always, and they have like the most. Just Google most recycled. It's not country. Most.
It's a Providence.
Recycled place.
Providence.
And there's, I think, hell, it might even be Vice, honestly.
Shout out Vice again.
Yeah,
Vice has
Vice
everything.
Again. Vice, you're really great, and then sometimes you just suck. But it's all good. Everybody's going to suck sometimes.
But it's all good. Everybody's going to suck sometimes. Yeah. Where you have to recycle.
Yeah. And I mean, it's annoying the way they recycle. But I appreciate it. They say it like, I can't remember what the number was. They said it adds like a couple hours to their week.
Whoa, this I just saw. China's banned on recyclable waste. NPR. Wow. Okay. China has refused to recycle the West's plastic. What does that mean? For more than 25 years, many developed countries, including the U.S., have been sending massive amounts of plastic waste to China instead of recycling it on their own. Some 106 million metric tons. About 45% of recycling has been exported to China since the United States began its United Nations Comtrade database in 1992.
Dude.
And now they're not recycling for us anymore.
Well, honestly, I think that's just like, all right, y'all, figure the fuck out, chill. I'm not even mad at them for that.
I agree, and what scares the fuck out of me is it's gonna be too late before Americans really realize that we need to do something.
Well, I think too late's a strong term because I feel like we'll figure out how to.
Yeah, you're right.
Fix it by
Not
then.
too late, but we will do a lot more
Well,
damage.
yeah, that's the way I'll put it. We're gonna do a lot more bullshit until we figure it out. I mean, it's like they always say about the Prius, where you might be saving the environment when you're driving, but you're not when they're making the battery and everything else that car needs.
Yeah,
and all
that's
that
one
jazz.
thing I really wish I knew more about.
Me
And
too.
if you
We should look
do,
that up. I don't.
no,
I want to look
okay.
more into it. That's all hearsay as far as I can,
Yeah.
as far as I've taken it. Yeah, yeah.
That's something we need to bring on into the next podcast. Is
Hell, we could do one on the subject of recycling.
that's not
how
a bad.
how it goes, where it goes, what it does. I mean, you see those ones where they just drop it off in the middle of some third world country, and you just see these like multitudes of children and adults who die at 25 because of all the plastic in the air, and they're like digging through. And
So
punch it out.
absurd. I think that.
I need one of those.
I think first thing we need to do is get rid of third world countries. Like, we need to fucking get everybody kind of on the same plane. Dude, I think it's absurd that.
Yeah, I think I do too. We should just nuke them all. Like, I think that's the way. No,
just
I
fucking
totally
blow them
agree.
up.
Yeah, bro, come
We're
on,
Americans.
USA, USA.
Let's put a fucking dip in and get them.
Yeah, we'll fix the problem. It's like the Joe Rogan joke where he talks about I feel like just jerking him off a little bit, but still, like the Joe Rogan joke where he's like, "No, you should just go to Ted Nugent concerts and tell him."
Oh yeah, that's a special
draft.
dude.
He's like, "We don't need to take 20-year-olds. We need to take 40-year-olds who hate their wives and drink beer. I'll drink Bud Light all day and woo."
Dude, Ted Nugent, that's a different type of white people right there. That is a whole different type of white people.
Yeah, it's fucking hilarious.
Ted Nugent fan. I went to New Orleans not too long ago, and it was with Steve I was telling you about. We made that spawn at like 11:30 at night. We were at the bar, and we were like, "So, should we go to New Orleans?" And it was like, "Oh fuck, I guess we're in the car going to New
Yeah.
Orleans." Like, and we listened to a 3-hour Ted Nugent talk with Joe Rogan, and holy fuck, is he out there, man?
Yeah, dude. Out there in a different direction.
Ted Nugent for president next.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Let's see where we can take this show.
Oh, God. Oh, man. Wow, what are we at right now?
I'm about to check. Holy fuck. Hour 20. Yeah, dude. Hour
Hell yeah,
Dude, doesn't
that's
even
fucking,
feel like
no,
it.
I'll high five for that shit.
Doesn't even
Garbage
feel
high
like
five.
it, man.
No, that's perfect. That's what we've always heard for so long. They're like, wow, this is, whenever they have a good podcast, and they're like, I can't believe we're already at an hour and a half. I'm like, that's right.
Yeah, that's hour 20, man.
Oh, man.
Covered a lot, too.
Oh,
Covered a
hell
lot.
yeah.
I mean, one
Hey,
thing I definitely... Yo.
I think we should, because your buddy, okay, the guy that we work with who looks like
Rob Guilfoyle.
Okay, so when we can get the girl too, the curly-haired brunette girl. Who you were talking to about that reptilian?
Oh,
or
yeah.
We should do it. We should save. I'd love to talk to him about him today, but we should save some reptilian talk and do one with them.
No, we
Have a
definitely
little
should.
reptilian sit down. Hell, we can do
have
it tomorrow
you-
or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with that is I've been trying to do one with them, and there's
Well, now we
always
have-
a fucking.
Well, now we have 2 people.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna make him do it.
but
Oh, we don't have 4 mics. We'll figure it out.
yeah, I do.
Okay,
We can make it
cool.
work.
Bet.
I got probably like 6 or 7 mics total.
Oh shit. Okay, we'll totally figure that out.
But one thing that we can briefly touch on.
What?
This?
No, I'm saying.
Oh yeah. One thing we can briefly touch on is, have you heard of the Lacerda files?
No, but that's what you all were. Was that what you all were talking about? Okay.
So the Lacerda files, man, that is supposedly an interview with a reptilian.
Really?
Yeah, and I mean, holy fuck, man, the
That's what I'm
Lacerda
saying.
transcripts.
That's gonna be a.
If it's legit, if it is,
How do you spell Lacerda?
Lacertia. So
Lacerda
go look it
files.
up. Lacerda files. I would, you could just look up a audio recording of it on YouTube. You can also look up the transcript if you want to read it yourself. But I have the transcript, but I found a YouTube video that actually read it accurately, and I just listened to it. But if that's real, dude, that is the most important interview that will ever be conducted. I mean, there were shit that she was saying that was just like absurd, man.
Now, how was she? See, I don't want to get too far into this because I totally want to say this.
Yeah, we
podcast
should
again.
save this for Rob. Yeah.
But how? My question is, how was she supposedly allegedly interviewing him? Was it her interviewing him, channeling it from
No.
space?
They were sitting down just like we are.
Okay.
And
Well, that was another thing that Meth P girl said was she was like, I don't like the term reptilian because as soon as you say it, everybody thinks lizards. But what it's more like is she said parasites in the machine.
Yeah, exactly. And what they do supposedly is they just get in our head and like they don't shapeshift, but they make our perception of them shapeshift.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
I mean,
to me.
that we'll kind of leave that one open.
Yeah. we want
Rob here. Rob is the UFO expert.
Yeah.
There's a gentleman at our work.
If you've ever seen what's this
Silicon Valley.
If you've ever seen Silicon Valley and saw Guilfoyle, couldn't look anywhere like him.
Oh, it's
night and day.
If he had glasses, Rob would be a Guilfoyle twin. Yeah. By the way, great show. Definitely recommend.
Shout out.
Checking it out.
Valley.
HBO,
Not
man.
the real Silicon Valley. I mean, I guess shout them out too. They're pretty great. Location. Yeah, they're cool, but
dude, yeah, HBO. Off of that topic. Well, not off of it. We just want to save the reptilian topic, but yeah. So our buddy Rob is just the UFO expert. He went to Alien Con, so we'll have him on the show for sure and get into some tinfoil hat shit. But HBO has been coming out with fucking amazing shows. Did you watch Ballers at all?
Yeah.
Ballers was great.
I liked it. Obviously Game of Thrones.
Obviously, yep.
Goes without saying.
What are some other really good HBO? Oh, dude, this is old. So let's take a little walk down nostalgia lane. But did you ever watch Oz, the prison show?
Oh yeah, back when I was 83. No, I never got to see it, but I've heard about it.
Yeah, back when you were 83 and I forgot how fucking old I am.
74, I think. Yeah.
That works. Yeah, because I aged in reverse.
Yeah, Benjamin Button sometimes. Yeah. From time to time.
Just sometimes.
From literally time to time.
From literally time to time. Yeah. But that show was actually a really weird take on the prison system. I just finished it.
I'm gonna have to watch it.
Yeah, I definitely recommend checking it out. It gets dark. I mean, it's HBO and it's prison. So you know that shit's
I know where that's
going.
going.
Rape.
Yeah, I was gonna say I assume they have rape in it.
Yeah,
probably?
yeah. Sodomy is definitely a pinpoint on there. But dude, we fucking hour and a half.
Dude.
Should we let these fuckers get back to what they're doing and meet them
guess.
another day?
I guess.
Alrighty. Well.
This has been the untitled, soon to be titled, but currently untitled, still untitled podcast.
Yeah. Yeah.
If we happen to have some early bird listeners who catch this, feel free to send them in. If you get the name, I mean,
yeah.
That's
if you
yours,
get the name,
man.
we'll, say that name.
We have been thinking, Inhibited Library.
Inhibited Library because we want to talk about anything.
I've thought Evolution Revelation, but it sounds a little too specific. We really like the term library. Go crazy.
Yeah, come up with some names for us,
come
y'all.
up with a crazy name, whatever. We will be talking about any and all topics. We will be having guests on, interviewing people. There's no limits to it. Think JRE podcast, but not him.
But us.
I mean, unless he wants to show up. I don't know. We'll see.
We
Maybe
always
5
have an
years down
extra
the-
mic for
Yeah,
him if
always,
he wants to
yeah.
show up, for sure. But
But dude, this has been great.
yeah, this has been awesome, man.
Unbelievable.
We're gonna try and do what? Try our best to do what?
2 to 3 a week.
2 to 3 a week.
I think we should say there will always be 2 a week.
Always
Third
be 2 a
one
week.
will be the wild card.
Yeah, wild card.
We will be going over and figuring out what day we want to upload everything, so we have some consistency.
And where we're gonna upload it.
Yeah. Where we're gonna upload it. Well, we're gonna try to upload it every single place you can think of.
Yeah, absolutely.
So don't worry about that. But we're gonna be. Grow with us. We're gonna be.
Grow with us. Yeah,
we're
that's a
gonna
good
be
way to
coming up
put
with a
it.
schedule. Everything's gonna be specific, and we'll be. I mean, I hope you like it.
Yeah,
It's
we're
been
just.
great.
I mean, we're just talking shit.
Yeah.
If you want to listen and it gets us money,
We will
shout out.
We will eventually be doing these live. We're gonna put up a video feed at some point. We would like to have a chat room going.
Yeah,
We'll
that way
things
you
like
guys
so
could talk shit to us.
yeah, tell us how
or
dumb
tell
we
us
were
how
about
dumb
the
we are.
subject we were saying.
That's right, yeah.
Whatever you
Like,
want.
what the fuck are these assholes talking about?
Yeah, they have no idea what they're talking about. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, I will say that we do want to have a guest on pretty soon,
Yeah.
and we want to have a transgender talk with some of we work with quite a few transgender people, and I'd like to get more knowledgeable on the subject, and I'm sure other people would as well. So we'd like to have them on.
We want to have a reptilian one as well coming
absolutely. Anything. And
Anything.
if you're in Nashville area and want to talk some shit with us,
hit us up.
Yeah.
If you got a subject, if you're knowledgeable on the subject, you want to sit down, it's easy.
Yeah, once we get all this uploaded, we'll have an email and everything if you guys want to, find us and ask us questions or, tell us how fucking dumb we were. But
all right, man.
I suppose we should fucking call it quits and let these hoes get back to what they're doing. Not
all right.
ladies. Just you in general.
Just you.
All right, man.
All right, man.
Let's hit the end button on this guy.
Have a great day.